Does free will exist in heaven separate from evil? And can someone make the argument that free will is actually just a scapegoat for evil? Always another great question from the flow, so let's get into it. Now, in my last video, I argued that the purpose of free will is so that we have the option to choose or reject God. That's the whole reason that he injected free will into creation. God is not a tyrant. Even though he has the power to be a tyrant, he chooses not to be a tyrant, and his desire is that his creation has the option to choose him. However, if God is good, if he is the total source of good, and the opposite of good is evil, well, then the only options that really exist are to either choose God or to choose evil. Now, the point that's being made here is that, well, if the angels are in heaven right now and they're not choosing evil, then isn't that an environment where free will exists apart from evil? Basically saying that in that environment you can have free will and not have evil, so maybe the argument that free will requires evil, since choosing anything other than God is literally evil, breaks down. But the problem with that argument is it misunderstands what evil actually is. So let's define evil for a moment. So evil is not a nebulous force that's floating around out in the ether and infecting people, right? Just like good is not a nebulous force that floats around out in the ether and affects people. So if it's not a nebulous force, then the question is, well, what exactly is it? And the answer is evil is just a word that we use to describe anything that's opposed to God. Now, for something to oppose God would require there to be an agent to carry out that opposition. So essentially what that means is that evil, or the existence of evil, which let's call the existence of evil being the existence of an option other than God, and the expression of that evil, which is the agent who carries the evil out, do not have to be in the same place at the same time. Or practically speaking, the angels in heaven all have the option to choose evil at any time. Free will remains intact. But the agents who are carrying out that evil are not allowed to be in heaven, because anyone who chooses evil is cast out of heaven. Which is why, at the end of all things, God takes all of the agents of evil and all of the things that would tempt people to do evil, and they're either destroyed or they're cast into the lake of fire in the pit and separated from all of those who chose God. And he does this because once a person has chosen that they want good, if you've chosen that all I want in my life is good, and I don't want anything other than God, I don't want anything outside of God, then it would be undesirable and unfair to that person who chose good to allow for evil things, or to allow for evil actors and temptation that would lead to things other than God to continue to exist, because those things would be offensive to the person who chose good. So to sum this up, does the existence of free will in heaven, separately from evil actors, refute the concept that you can have free will separately from evil? And the answer is no, because evil is not a thing, but rather evil is simply something opposite from God. And so long as human beings have a choice, then we will always have the option to choose something other than God. And if we choose something other than God, then we are choosing evil.